brings up another discussion that I want to kind of get your guys' thoughts on. We sit here and we see teams giving up, like the Browns gave up 3 first rounders. The Broncos gave up 2 first rounders. Most of the time you think his first round picks are like gold, right? But I guess if you sit down and analyze it, and I want to get your thoughts, I mean, is a first round pick on somebody that you really don't know anything about? Technically, your first round pick should be a guy that is a potential Hall of Famer, but you don't really know. And you're giving that up for a proven guy, or what you feel like is a proven guy. I mean, are we overvaluing first round picks maybe?
That's a really good point, because kind of like you said, when you hear a first round pick, you're like, oh, that's a high price. But think of all the first round picks like Sam Darnold and
right.
Didn't really, or like
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, the guy the Cardinals drafted, Drew Rosen.
Right. Or just look at first round picks that are like pick number 25 or 26.
Right.
You never
right.
heard
Well,
of.
Well, I mean, who you're trading with based on what pick they have.
Yeah,
at least this next year, maybe not down the line so much, but
right.
That's a really good point. I would much rather give up picks to get a big time proven player.
Right.
Yeah, I think when you really think about it, it's not as high a price as it seems. You're right. Now, if it could turn out to be, if the team that receive the picks right and hits on these picks, but it's not guaranteed. I don't know the percentage out there, but it's almost kind of a toss up whether you get like a really quality starter.
And you can't say, like, let's say the team you trade the pick to drafts the next Peyton Manning. Well, you can't say for sure that you would have done that either, because you would have had the pick. You may have made a different decision.
Right.
It's not 1-for-1 kind of
right.
thing. Yeah. But I agree, though. Maybe we are overvaluing it. That's a good point. I was just thinking before you even asked that question, I was thinking, why doesn't a team just try to do this sometime? Like the Yankees were famous for it. Why doesn't a team just build their entire team from established guys and always trade the first, second round picks? Like never drafted the first, second round for like 10 years straight.
Well, the thing, if you try to get too many established guys, you do have a salary cap with the Yankees.
Right.
Right. When I say established, I don't mean like maybe at that somebody as big as Watson or Russell Wilson, but I mean like players who are veterans, basically. I mean, like who've played multiple years in the league and who have showed that they're good. They don't have to be like stars, but build your team with all of those.
Well, that's a good point.
Forget about the draft. You don't have to worry about it on draft day. You don't even have to worry about it.
What the Rams did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a couple points on that. First,
I mean, like throughout the years, not just for. I mean, like for the next 10 years, like don't draft anybody.
Well, to answer your question, Nathan, I think first of all, it's one thing to do it with a quarterback, because as we know, you can't touch quarterbacks these days. So those guys are going to have longer careers. When you start doing that with linebackers and offensive linemen and so forth, these guys have taken a lot of beating, and you're not sure that you're going to be able to have these guys for that long of a time to build your whole team around it. I think Joseph made a good point. I mean, when you got a salary cap, you can only do so much of that. Whereas in baseball, it was just a matter of paying a little bit more money on the luxury tax. So that was that. I think those are the reasons why it's a little harder to do that in football.
And I'm not saying somebody's played, I think it's said multiple years, but why can't you take, let's say you need a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
You have a first round pick or a second round, you want to draft a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you be better off trying to trade or something for a guy who's played 1 or 2 years in the league? He shouldn't be that beat up. Even if he's just played 1 year, you've seen that, okay, he's good now. He can do it.
Right.
There's other guy who knows.
Right.
So trade your first, second round pick and sign some like, linebacker from Jacksonville that's played a year or two, and it's not going to be that much money.
I mean, but then again, like most teams, the guys that draft, they feel good about. Like, I don't,
They're going to trade him, you mean? Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you trade, you have to give up something to get a guy, but they figure, well, we have this draft pick. We're going to draft somebody that's going to pan out. Like, nobody comes out of a draft thinking they had a bad draft, their own team, right? I mean, like, they always feel good about the guys that drafted. So,
and they have to be,
I don't know.
And that's if you get like a linebacker who's played a year or two and looks to be pretty good, the team that has him might not want to trade him. So.
Right. Well, and also like the Jaguars cut Miles Jack, a linebacker that they drafted back in 2016. What?
They cut him?
Yeah, they cut him, and the Steelers signed him. So that answers your question.
Why did you cut a guy like
because
that?
They're dumping salary and they're trying to rebuild.
Does dumping salary, does that not work when you trade a guy?
It does to a degree. It does, but like Joseph said, you got to give somebody up for him. So if you feel like the guy's expendable, you cut him and you dump his salary. You don't have to give anything up for him.
No, you don't get. You get somebody for him. If you're the Jaguars with Miles Jack,
Yeah, I
But
know.
I think the like team salary cap situation is like no secret. So most teams are probably like, oh, he's a cut candidate because he's making so much money. Let's wait till they release him.
Right, right, right,
And-
right.
I see. So
Yeah.
they're willing to trade, but they're not going to do it as well.
Right, right. That's another factor. That's a good point. You may be willing to trade somebody, but if other teams know the situation you're in,
They'll just wait you out.
they're just going to wait. Right.